The first step towards building a digital bank is to come up with a believable business case, something that you believe in as sponsor, your investor group will believe in, your future board, your regulators, and your customers will believe in, right? And towards that end, you've got to answer some pertinent questions. For example, starting with, what are the actual customer problems that you are trying to solve? And for that, we've got to acknowledge what are the challenges that the customer faces today. For example, they hate going to banks for their everyday banking needs. They want a mobile first experience. They want bank in their pocket. They want to simplify the AML and KYC procedure that they have to go through. They want a Netflix type of an experience. So how exactly is your digital bank going to solve some of these problems? Second, how are you as a digital bank going to change the basis of competition? How is your cost structure going to be different? How is your revenue sources going to be different? And how is your profit drivers going to be different? How banks make profit today is very different from how they'll be making money in 5 years' time. Do we understand, as sponsors, do we understand the drivers for it? So for example, a number of banks have started digital onboarding, but if you really look at it in detail, then it is really a semi-automated process and a pseudo-digital process. So they've got a great facade, but at the back end, a lot of work is still manual, or the foundations are not built to capture the right data at absolutely the foundational level. And therefore, they do not have a real impact on the cost structures, right? And therefore, if you do not reduce your cost base via technology, how are you going to pass on that benefit to your customers in terms of superior value? Similarly, another question is, how do you intend to drive user adoption, the customer adoption of this new platform that you're bringing? You cannot expect customers to actually subscribe to, 50, 70, 100 features that you introduce as a digital bank on day one. Right? So do you create a feedback loop? Do you start small? You test the customer appetite, you see the feedback, and based on that, you reprioritize and you give certain incentives to drive behavioral changes. And finally, all this stuff feeds into how are you going to drive the ROI on this digital effort of yours? Right? Is there a roadmap to revenue? Is there a roadmap to profitability? Is it realistic enough? For example, any new digital bank cannot expect to be the primary primary bank for their customers on day one. So if you're a secondary account and if you're not getting that level of deposit and float, then exactly how is your financial business case built, right? And do you have a realistic plan in terms of how you're going to break even and therefore make money for your shareholders? So these are some of the questions, hard questions, that we have to address upfront to come up with a believable business case that will feed into the long-term creation of shareholder value for you.